I placed the steaming garlic-roasted chicken in the center of the dining room table, carefully arranging the roasted potatoes around the edges of the ceramic platter. My mother Margaret watches with those critical eyes that have followed my movements since childhood. Dad Richard sits quietly, his gaze fixed on his empty plate, as if it contains the secrets of the universe. "This looks wonderful, Sarah," Mom says, but her tone lacks warmth. She's wearing her pearl necklace tonight, the one reserved for special occasions or difficult conversations. "Thanks." I pour water into the crystal glasses Grandpa Henry gave me for my 25th birthday. "I thought we could use a nice family dinner. We haven't had one in weeks." Mom studies her silverware, straightening her fork with precise movements. Dad clears his throat but says nothing. The silence stretches between us like a living thing, hungry and growing. I'm serving the chicken when Mom slams her fork against the table. The sound cracks through the room like a gunshot. "You have 72 hours to pack," she announces, her voice flat. "This house belongs to your sister Jessica now." The serving spoon slips from my fingers, clattering against the platter. "What?" "We've decided to transfer the house to Jessica." Mom smooths her napkin across her lap, as if she's just commented on the weather rather than detonated my entire world. Dad hunches further over his plate, his shoulders curved inward. When he finally looks up, his eyes slide past mine, settling somewhere over my left shoulder. The blood drains from my face. The room tilts slightly, the familiar walls of my childhood home suddenly alien and threatening. My hands tremble as I grip the edge of the table. "What do you mean, Jessica's?" My voice rises. "I've been paying the mortgage for years." Mom's mouth tightens into a thin line. "That was your choice, Sarah. We never asked for charity." "Charity?" The word explodes from my mouth. "You were about to lose this house. Jessica lives comfortably in Seattle and calls, twice a year? Meanwhile, I've poured everything I have into keeping this place afloat." Dad clears his throat, his voice weak when he finally speaks. "Your mother's made up her mind, Sarah." Of course. Dad never stands against her, not once in 31 years. Why would today be different? The dining room dissolves around me, replaced by another dinner 6 years earlier. The foreclosure notice sat between us on this very table, the red warning stamps screaming through the formal letterhead. Mom's face was ashen then, Dad's hands shaking as he pushed the paper toward me. "We don't know what to do," he had admitted, voice breaking. I had just received my promotion at Westlake Tech, senior software engineer with a salary that finally matched my skills. The pride I felt evaporated the moment I saw that notice. "I can't let you lose the house," I heard myself say. The words came easily, naturally. This was what family did for each other. "I'll cover the mortgage until you're back on your feet." 4 years, $95,000 in mortgage payments wired directly to the bank. Then the roof started leaking $12,000. The heating system failed the following winter, $7,500 more. New furniture when the old pieces finally gave out. Each check written without hesitation. This wasn't just any house. 4 generations of my family had gathered around this dining table. Grandpa Henry taught me to play chess in the living room. I took my first steps in the hallway outside my bedroom. This house contained the architecture of my childhood, the foundation of who I became. "After everything I've done," I whisper, "you're just giving it away?" Mom's eyes flash. "It was always meant for Jessica. You were just holding it for her." The room seems to contract around us. The weight of the betrayal presses against my chest, making it hard to breathe. My chair scrapes against the hardwood floor as I stand, my legs shaking but my spine stiffening with each passing second. "This isn't right," I say, my voice steadier than I expected. And deep down, you both know it. Dad flinches as if I've struck him. Mom's face hardens into a mask I recognize all too well, the immovable expression that has ended countless family discussions throughout my life. But something has shifted inside me. The dutiful daughter who sacrificed her financial security to save her family home feels herself transforming into someone stronger, someone who won't be dismissed so easily. I look at the untouched meal, the perfect golden skin of the chicken now cooling, all that effort wasted, just like the years I spent believing my parents valued my sacrifice. The familiar walls of the dining room suddenly feel like a prison I've built for myself, plank by plank, nail by nail, check by check. For the first time, I wonder what might exist for me beyond these walls, beyond the suffocating weight of obligation and disappointment. What I do know with absolute certainty, this battle has only just begun. The next morning, the sun bathes Portland in golden light. but I can't feel its warmth. My hands tremble around the coffee mug as Emily Watson leans forward across the small cafe table, her attorney's eyes sharp with concern. Who does this to their own daughter? I whisper, my voice cracking. The bustling coffee shop surrounds us with normal-life baristas calling out orders, customers typing on laptops while my world lies shattered. Emily pushes her auburn hair behind her ear, a gesture I recognize from our college days. Her professional demeanor softens. Start from the beginning. Every detail matters. I recount last night's ambush dinner, each word like broken glass in my throat. The betrayal feels fresh, raw. Margaret's cold eyes, Richard's cowardice. The house I saved being handed to Jessica like a gift-wrapped package. 72 hours, I say. That's all they gave me. Emily's pen hovers above her legal pad. Something doesn't add up here. Your parents were facing foreclosure. You stepped in with nearly $100,000, and now they're giving the house to your sister? She taps her pen against the notepad. Let me check the property records. There's more to this story. 2 days later, Emily calls. Her voice vibrates with urgency. Can you come to my office? Now? The law firm occupies the 5th floor of a downtown building with windows overlooking the river. Emily's office smells of leather and lemon polish. She closes the door before pulling a document from a manila folder. I found your grandfather Henry's will. My lungs forget how to work. What? Emily slides the document across her desk. The house was never your parents' to give away, Sarah. Her finger points to a paragraph halfway down the page. Your grandfather left it specifically to you. Not your parents, not Jessica, you. The words blur before my eyes. I blink hard, forcing them into focus. I, Henry James Anderson, being of sound mind, bequeath my family home at 1847 Willamette Drive, Portland, Oregon, to my granddaughter, Sarah Elizabeth Anderson. The date on the document steals my breath 4 years before Grandpa Henry passed. This can't be right. But even as I speak, puzzle pieces click into terrible place. Margaret's insistence on handling all the funeral arrangements, the missing paperwork, the convenient misunderstanding about who owned the house. Emily's voice gentles. They've been planning this for years, Sarah. They never owned the house to give away. They knew your grandfather left it to you, and they hid the will. My mother's face appears in my mind, not the cold mask from dinner, but smiling, helping me with homework, teaching me to bake bread. The image shatters, replaced by calculation, deception. Years of lies. What about Jessica? I ask. Does she know? That's what we need to find out. Emily sits beside me, her hand steady on my arm. But first, you need to understand something. This is your house, Sarah. It always has been. My phone buzzes with a text from Jessica. So excited to redecorate my house. That hideous grandfather clock is the first thing to go. The clock? Grandpa Henry restored himself, the one he taught me to wind every Sunday. Heat rushes through my body, my fingers clenching around the phone. She's selling our family heirlooms. Emily takes a deep breath. We need to fight this, and I'm with you, as your friend and your attorney. Walking to my car, I notice Mrs. Linda watering flowers in her front yard. She's lived next door for 30 years, watched me grow up. Her eyes crinkle with concern as I approach. Sarah, honey, your mother was loading boxes into her car this morning. She lowers her voice, said something about clearing out your things. Mr. Brown appears on his porch across the street, newspaper in hand. Everything all right, Sarah? Your folks have been acting strange. These neighbors have witnessed everything: my care for the house, Jessica's absence, my parents' declining health and finances before I stepped in. We've watched you save this place while your sister never showed her face, Mrs. Linda says, patting my hand. Don't think we haven't noticed. My phone rings. Dad, Richard, whatever I should call him now. Sarah. His voice sounds thinner on the phone. Your mother wants me to tell you not to make things ugly for the family. Like hiding Grandpa's will? The words escape before I can stop them. Silence stretches between us. Then, we're changing the locks tomorrow. Don't force us to put your things on the curb. I call Emily immediately. They're threatening to lock me out of my own house. Document everything, she says firmly. Every penny you've spent, every improvement you've made. We're going to need it all. That night, I pull out years of bank statements, each mortgage payment highlighted in neon yellow, receipts for the new roof, the heating system, furniture. I photograph the kitchen backsplash I installed myself, the garden beds I built, the fresh paint in every room. Morning finds me standing in Emily's office again, this time with a certified copy of Grandpa Henry's will. The original is being retrieved from county records. "This is our leverage," Emily says, sliding the document into a folder. My legs suddenly give way. I sink into her office chair, a sob tearing from my throat. My own parents. Words fail me. Emily kneels beside me, her hand steady on my shoulder. "I know. They watched me pay that mortgage for years." My voice sounds strange to my ears. They knew I was pouring everything I had into a house that was already mine. How could they? "Some people make choices that even those who love them can't understand," Emily says quietly. Outside her window, Portland continues its business. Traffic flows. Pedestrians hurry along sidewalks. The world hasn't stopped, though mine has cracked open. I wipe my eyes, straightening my spine. "What's our next step?" Emily smiles, a fierce gleam in her eyes. We show them exactly who they're dealing with. For the first time since that terrible dinner, something like hope stirs in my chest. The battle has just begun, but I'm not fighting alone. Later that day, the garage code doesn't work. I punch the numbers again, 2184, the same birthday combination that's opened this door for 6 years. Nothing happens. The small red light blinks mockingly, denying me entry to my own home. My phone vibrates in my pocket. Another text from Aunt Carol. "Your mother says you're being ungrateful about the house situation. Is everything okay?" It's the third family member to reach out since yesterday. Margaret has been busy, spinning her version of events to anyone who'll listen. I slide the phone back without responding and try the front door instead. The key still works, at least for now. Inside, the house feels different, hostile, like it's already rejecting me. I follow the sound of movement to the garage. The door swings open to reveal my childhood bedroom furniture, photo albums, and personal items stacked in untidy piles. A yellow post-it note on my oak dresser reads, "For donation, Jay. Jessica." My sister's handwriting hasn't changed since high school. A quick check of her social media confirms what I already suspect: a fresh post, showing her airplane window view with the caption, "Portland bound. Can't wait to settle into my new home. Blessed. New beginnings." The timestamps tell the story. While I discovered the betrayal at dinner 2 nights ago, they've been planning this for weeks. Jessica's flight was booked the day after I deposited the latest mortgage payment. A strange calm washes over me. The initial shock has crystallized into something harder, colder. "Enough is enough," I whisper to the empty house. Instead of arguing, instead of pleading, I pull out my phone and dial a number Emily recommended. "Pine State Movers." A cheerful voice answers. "How can we help you today?" "I need a team tomorrow morning. Large furniture removal from a residential property." While scheduling the appointment, I start a detailed inventory on my tablet, every item I've purchased over the years. The living room sectional sofa, the 60-inch television, the washer and dryer, the kitchen appliances, even the curtains that hang in every window. Each entry includes the date of purchase and approximate value. Emily texts that she's filed the initial paperwork to enforce Grandpa Henry's will. The wheels of justice turn slowly, but they're turning. For now, I need to focus on what I can control. By evening, my parents' car pulls into the driveway, followed by an unfamiliar rental. Jessica steps out wearing oversized sunglasses despite the overcast sky. She hugs our mother with exaggerated enthusiasm, while Dad retrieves her matching luggage from the trunk. I watch from the kitchen window, noting how Jessica surveys the property like she's appraising its value. She's never loved this house the way I do to her. It's just an asset, a windfall she didn't earn. The next morning arrives with dreary Portland drizzle. The moving truck pulls up precisely at 8. I meet the crew outside, reviewing my inventory list and directing them toward the items marked for removal. We start with the living room. The sectional sofa purchased when Mom complained about back pain from the old one takes 4 men to navigate through the doorway. The television follows, then the coffee table, end tables, and every lamp I've bought over the years. Jessica appears in the doorway, still in silk pajamas, her expression shifting from confusion to horror as she watches the movers wrapping the entertainment center in protective blankets. "What are you doing?" Her voice rises, shrill enough to draw our parents from the kitchen. "You're stripping my house." I continue checking items off my list, keeping my voice level. Everything I'm taking I paid for. You didn't contribute a dime. Mom, Dad, are you seeing this? Jessica gestures wildly at the increasingly empty room. Margaret steps forward, her face pale. Sarah, be reasonable. This furniture belongs in this house. No, I counter, handing a mover the receipt for the sectional. This furniture belongs to me. I have documentation for every item. You want the house? Fine. But you don't get everything I've poured into it. Dad looks uncomfortable, shifting his weight from one foot to another. Some of these things were gifts, Sarah. Were they? I meet his gaze directly. When I bought the washer and dryer, did either of you say, "Thank you for this gift," or did you just accept them as part of my ongoing support? Neither answers. The silence speaks volumes. Outside, Mr. Brown from next door approaches one of the movers struggling with a heavy bookshelf. At 72, he shouldn't be lifting, but he steadies the corner anyway. This girl saved this house, he tells the young mover. Been watching her keep it afloat for years, while the rest of them were nowhere to be found. Other neighbors begin to emerge. Mrs. Linda, watering plants that don't need watering. The Thompsons suddenly deciding their sidewalk needs sweeping. Silent witnesses to the dismantling of a family. By midday, we've emptied the living room and moved to the kitchen. Every appliance I purchased, from the refrigerator to the toaster oven, gets wrapped and loaded. The rooms echo as they're stripped bare. Margaret stands in the family room doorway, watching silently as the movers remove the last floor lamp, leaving only the old recliner that predates my financial support. You're making a mistake, she finally says, but her voice lacks conviction. Jessica isn't so restrained. She follows me from room to room, filming on her phone, threatening lawsuits and retribution. You'll regret this, she hisses. I have friends who are lawyers too. Good, I reply, checking off the dining room chandelier from my list. Then, you already know that possession of stolen property is a criminal offense. Emily arrives around 2, legal papers in hand. She serves them to my stunned parents' formal notice of Grandpa Henry's will and the legal proceedings to enforce it. Her presence lends weight to what everyone now realizes. This isn't just an emotional reaction, but a calculated response, backed by law. The house wasn't yours to give away, Emily explains with professional detachment. It was left specifically to Sarah. We have the original will, properly executed and witnessed. Jessica turns to our parents, her expression darkening. You promised me a fully furnished house. You said everything would be mine. We thought, Dad begins, but can't seem to finish the sentence. The movers continue their methodical work, creating more empty space with each item removed. By late afternoon, the house is half bare, a visual representation of exactly what I contributed and what existed before. The neighbors have gathered in small clusters, watching the proceedings with silent nods of approval. During a final walkthrough, I pass my parents' bedroom. The door stands ajar, and something compels me to enter. In the dresser drawer, beneath carefully folded handkerchiefs, I find a photograph I thought was lost. Grandpa Henry standing proudly in front of the house, his arm around my 12-year-old shoulders. I remember that day clearly. He had taken me on a tour of every room, showing me the craftsmanship in the crown molding, the solid oak banisters, the hand-carved mantelpiece. One day, he had said, his voice gravelly but warm, this will all be yours to protect, Sarah. Not just walls and a roof, but a legacy. Tears well up, but they're different now, not of betrayal but of understanding. I'm honoring him by fighting for what he intended, by refusing to let his final wishes be ignored. I tuck the photograph into my jacket pocket and walk back through the half-empty rooms. The movers are finishing up, loading the last of my possessions. Emily waits by her car, ready to escort me to the apartment I've rented while the legal battle unfolds. Jessica stands on the front porch, still filming, still threatening. Margaret and Dad hover in the background, their faces a mixture of anger and dawning realization. I'm documenting the condition of the property, I tell them, taking final photos of each room, for legal purposes. As I walk down the front path for what might be the last time, Emily touches my arm. I found something else in the courthouse records, she says quietly. A letter from your grandfather, explaining why he left the house to you specifically. It was filed with his will, but kept in a separate envelope. I pause, keys in hand, looking back at the home that contains both my best memories and worst betrayals. What choices would you make? I wonder aloud, not expecting an answer, if faced with this betrayal. The neighbors watch silently as I get into my car. For the first time in 6 years, I drive away without wondering if the mortgage payment will clear, without worrying about the leaky faucet or the creaking floorboard that needs repair. And strangely, unexpectedly, it feels like freedom. The day after moving out, the courtroom date glares from my calendar like a neon sign. 3 weeks from today, Grandpa Henry's will becomes public record, and with it, the truth. I arrange my documentation in color-coded folders, mortgage payments in green, renovation receipts in blue, utility bills in yellow. Organization calms me, creates order from the chaos my parents unleashed. Emily spreads the files across her desk, nodding with each addition to our arsenal. Your preparation puts most of my corporate clients to shame. I need to be ready. My voice sounds different these days, steadier, with an edge that wasn't there before. They've had years to craft their story. Let them underestimate us. Emily taps the certified copy of Grandpa's will. Sometimes the strongest position is letting your opponent think they've already won. Later that evening, my phone vibrates with 3 rapid notifications. My neighbor Linda's text appears first. Did you see what's happening at your house? I click the link she sent to our community Facebook page. Mom and Dad stand on the porch with a police officer. Mom's face twisted in righteous indignation as she gestures wildly toward the empty living room visible through the front windows. My stomach drops. I call Emily immediately. They've filed a police report claiming I stole their furniture, I tell her, pacing my small apartment. They're saying I stripped the house. Emily's laugh startles me. Perfect. Forward me that link. Did you keep those receipts I told you to organize? Every single one. Then let them dig this hole deeper. Her confidence steadies me. The officer will verify you own everything you took. This just documents their dishonesty for the court. She's right. By morning, the police close the complaint after confirming my ownership of every item removed. The officer even calls personally. Ma'am, I rarely say this, but your documentation was impressive. His tone carries veiled disapproval of my parents. I've informed the complainants that this is a civil matter and advised them against filing false reports. Jessica's fury erupts online that afternoon. Her Instagram story features photos of the half-empty house with the caption, "When your greedy sister strips your new home out of spite." Some people have no class. Comments flood in not with the sympathy she expected, but questions. Wasn't that Sarah's house from her grandfather? I thought Sarah paid the mortgage for years. Didn't she just take what she bought herself? Jessica deletes the post within hours, but screenshots circulate. Cousin Bethany calls me for the first time in months. I had no idea what was happening, she says, hesitation in her voice. Aunt Margaret told everyone you were having a breakdown. They lied to you, like they lied to me. The words come easier now. The house was never theirs to give away. More calls follow Aunt Susan, Uncle Frank, my father's cousin Robert. The family grapevine hums with revised understanding. My parents' narrative crumbles under scrutiny. Tuesday next week brings unexpected reinforcements. My bank manager arrives at Emily's office, clutching a folder of statements. Miss Anderson, we've processed your request for mortgage payment verification. He hands Emily the official documentation. 4 years of consistent payments, directly from your account to the mortgage holder. We've highlighted the transfers. The contractors follow Mr. Wilson, who installed the new roof, Jim from Portland Heating, who replaced the furnace, even Mrs. Gunderson, who sold me the dining room set. Each provides written confirmation of payments made, work completed, furniture purchased. People remember kindness, Emily says as she files each statement. And they remember who actually showed up. When Mrs. Patterson, my parents' bridge partner for 15 years, calls to volunteer information, I'm genuinely surprised. Your mother asked me about hiding inheritance papers nearly 5 years ago. She reveals, voice trembling with indignation. She claimed they were complicated family matters, but I never imagined this level of deception. Emily adds her statement to our growing collection. The tables are turning, Sarah. She's right. Dad and Mom have consulted 3 different attorneys, each declining to represent them after reviewing the facts. Jessica returns to Seattle, leaving our parents to face the mess alone. Your sister's abandoning ship, Emily notes, checking her sources in the legal community. She told her friends the house might not materialize after all. Apparently, she's blaming your parents for promising something that wasn't theirs. The betrayal still stings, but differently now, less like an open wound and more like scar tissue forming, painful but healing. Dad calls late one evening, his voice hollow. "Sarah, maybe we can talk about this." The tremor in his words betrays his fear. "Your mother's upset, but I think we should discuss options." I'm listening. I keep my tone neutral, protecting myself from hope. "We could work something out. You've done a lot for the house." His familiar pattern of hedging, never standing firmly against Mom. "The house belongs to me, Dad. Grandpa Henry left it to me in his will. You and Mom knew that." His silence speaks volumes. "She thought it wasn't fair," he finally whispers. "Jessica never had the opportunities you did. That was Jessica's choice, not mine." The words come naturally now. I'm not backing down. He sighs heavily. "I was afraid you'd say that." Mom doubles down, of course. She cancels bridge club rather than face questions. Stops attending her garden society meetings when whispers follow her entrance. Their united front fractures under pressure. Mom blaming Dad for not handling me properly. Dad retreating into passive silence. Jessica demanding they fix the mess they created. A settlement offer arrives 3 days before court. Their lawyer, the fourth one, young and clearly uncomfortable, presents terms that would give me a small payment in exchange for surrendering my claim. "They're desperate," Emily says, sliding the offer back across the desk. "They know they can't win." I study the paper, my parents' signatures at the bottom. Once, those scrawled names held the power to devastate me. Now they're just ink on paper, names belonging to people who chose deception over love. I don't want their money. I look up at Emily. I want the truth recognized. She nods, understanding completely. Then we prepare for court. "But Sarah," she adds, closing the folder with finality, "you've already won." That night, I stand on my apartment balcony, watching the city lights flicker below. In 3 days, a judge will confirm what I already know, that sometimes family is defined not by blood, but by whose love comes without conditions. That sometimes justice arrives not as a thunderclap, but as quiet vindication years in the making. The anger still burns, but cleaner now, a focused flame illuminating the path forward. On the day of the confrontation, I arrive at the courthouse steps to find my parents and Jessica huddled together, their heads bent in conspiratorial whispers. They straighten when they spot me, faces arranging into expressions of wounded innocence that might have fooled me 6 months ago. "Sarah," Mom calls, her voice honey-sweet. "We need to talk before we go inside." Dad steps forward, his weathered face creased with worry. "Blood is thicker than water, Sarah." I feel Emily's steadying presence beside me as we approach. "What's this about?" Jessica's designer purse swings from her wrist as she gestures toward a nearby bench. "We have a proposal, a way to keep family matters private." The morning sun beats down on us, but a chill runs through me. I've seen this tactic before, the last-minute ambush when they think I'm most vulnerable. "Let's hear it," I say, keeping my voice neutral. Mom reaches for my hand, but I don't offer it. Her fingers flutter awkwardly before retreating to her pearl necklace. "We're willing to share the house. You can stay in the guest room until you find somewhere else. Or visit on holidays," Jessica adds with manufactured generosity. "Family property should stay in the family." I meet each of their gazes in turn. Then why does my blood seem to count for less? Mom's face crumples into practiced anguish. "You're destroying this family," she whispers, tears gathering at the corners of her eyes. "After everything we've done for you." Jessica steps closer, her voice dropping to a hiss. "You know what this means, right? Christmas, Thanksgiving, Dad's birthday. You won't be welcome if you go through with this." Behind them, I notice our extended family arriving, Uncle Paul and Aunt Diane, Mom's cousin Bethany. They hover uncertainly, clearly having been told to pick sides. Dad places his hand on my shoulder, his touch heavy. "You'll regret this when we're gone, Sarah." "Is a house worth losing your family over?" I remove his hand gently but firmly. "That's the question you should have asked yourselves." Inside the courtroom, the air conditioning raises goosebumps on my arms. The judge, a woman with silver-streaked hair and keen eyes, reviews the documents before her with methodical precision. "I have before me the last will and testament of Henry Anderson," she announces, along with a supplemental letter addressed to his granddaughter, Sarah Anderson. My breath catches. I hadn't known about a letter. Emily's hand tightens around mine beneath the table. The judge adjusts her glasses. Mr. Anderson's intentions are unambiguous. The property at 1847 Maple Street was left solely to Sarah Anderson, with specific instructions that his daughter and son-in-law were to have lifetime residence rights only. She looks directly at my parents. There is no provision for transferring ownership to Jessica Anderson. Mom's face drains of color. Jessica's phone slips from her fingers, clattering on the wooden bench. Emily rises, presenting a thick folder. "Your Honor, we've documented Miss Anderson's financial contributions to the property over 6 years, totaling $114,500 in mortgage payments and necessary renovations. Neighbors file in as character witnesses Mrs. Linda from across the street, Mr. Brown from next door, even old Mr. Fitzgerald who watched me grow up. They testify to my years of care, of mowing the lawn when Dad's back went out, of painting the porch rails every spring, of shoveling snow from everyone's walkways after the blizzard of 2019. The judge's voice cuts through the murmur that follows. This deception should never have occurred. The court recognizes Sarah Anderson as the rightful and sole owner of the property in question. The gavel strikes with finality. Outside, I pull out my cell phone while Emily keeps my family at bay. I call the number I'd programmed days earlier. "Portland Home Realty? This is Sarah Anderson. Yes, I'd like to proceed with listing the property we discussed." Within the week, an investor makes an offer well above market value. The closing happens so quickly that my parents barely have time to find a small rental on the outskirts of town. Jessica flies back to Seattle, her Instagram suddenly quiet after weeks of posts about her new home. I sign the final papers with a steady hand. "It's finally over," I tell Emily as we leave the title company. The neighborhood changes too. "Mrs. Linda waves but doesn't invite Mom in for coffee anymore. Mr. Brown nods politely to Dad but no longer stops to chat about baseball. The community has made its judgment, and it wasn't in my parents' favor. 2 weeks after the sale, my phone rings with Dad's number. Mom would never call. Her pride wouldn't allow it. "Sarah." His voice sounds older, stripped of its authority. "I should have stood up for you." I watch the sunset from my new apartment balcony. The weight of betrayal still heavy but no longer crushing. "Yes, you should have." After we hang up, my phone pings with a notification. An email from Jessica. Subject line, "We need to talk." I set the phone down without opening it and turn my face toward the setting Sunday. Some bridges, once burned, should stay ash. 3 months later, the sunlight streams through the curtainless windows of my new apartment, painting golden rectangles across the bamboo flooring. The space feels impossibly light compared to the heaviness of the family home 700 square feet that belong entirely to me. I run my fingers along the kitchen counter, savoring the cool smoothness of the quartz. No ghosts of family arguments here, no walls stained with decades of manipulation, just open space and possibility. My phone buzzes with a text from Emily. "Don't forget housewarming at 6, bringing that Pinot Noir you loved." The corner of my mouth lifts in a smile that feels unfamiliar, one that reaches my eyes without effort. When was the last time I smiled like this in the old house? Had I ever? The doorbell chimes at exactly 6 o'clock. Emily stands on my threshold, holding not just the promised wine, but a potted fiddle leaf fig, nearly as tall as She Island, first official housewarming gift. She announces, wrestling the plant through the doorway. "Something that grows, just like you." Behind her, Mrs. Linda and Mr. Brown from my old neighborhood arrive carrying a handmade quilt and a toolbox, respectively. "Every home needs good tools," Mr. Brown says, setting the box on my counter without ceremony, "and someone who knows how to use them." The apartment fills gradually with these people who stood by me. Neighbors, colleagues, my therapist Diane, who helped me understand that family can be created through choice, not just blood. They move through my new space, bringing warmth and genuine affection, no hidden agendas or veiled criticisms. We gather around my small table, nothing like the formal dining setup where my world collapsed months ago. Here, elbows bump comfortably, laughter flows without restraint. No one studies their silverware to avoid eye contact. "I'd like to propose a toast," Emily says, raising her glass. "To new beginnings and honest relationships." The glasses clink together, a sound like small bells ringing in a new chapter. Later, after showing Diane the scholarship fund paperwork, 20% of the house sale proceeds dedicated to helping others rebuild after family betrayal, I find myself momentarily alone in the kitchen. "You've turned betrayal into a blessing for others," Emily says, joining me. "Your grandfather would be proud." The next morning, I visit the cemetery with fresh tulips in my hand. The spring air carries the scent of renewal as I kneel beside Grandpa Henry's headstone. "Thank you for your final gift," I whisper, placing the flowers against the marble. The truth that set me free. From my pocket, I withdraw a small stone from the foundation of the old house, the only piece I kept. I place it atop his headstone, feeling the weight of obligation lift from my shoulders as my fingers release it. Walking back to my car, I take a detour past the vacant storefront I've been considering. The realtor's sign displays "for lease" in bold letters, and through the windows, I can already envision the tech education center I'm planning, a place to help others build their own foundations. I stand in the patch of sunlight on the sidewalk, face turned toward the future I'm creating on my own terms. The realization settles in my bones with quiet certainty. Sometimes losing a house means finding a home within yourself. Have you ever had to rebuild after family betrayal? Your story matters. Share it below.